Hey guys, Scotland's Football here, back with another video. And today's video, we are back with another round of the Premier League score predictions for game week 16. Well, I'll go through the results of last week, because we had a guest on last week. Right, the guest got one, I got one, to a 1-1 draw. Well, however, this week, we're not going to be doing the one with the guest this week for the 1 week. But next week we will, because there's so many... Today there's some fixtures today because of due to the festive period. So it's another game week. The games today, tomorrow, and a couple on Wednesday. So I thought it's hard to get in the time limit, and the games start at 3 o'clock, so I want to do it before then. So I hope that's all right. It'll be a fairly quick one today. So right. The first game is Crystal Palace versus Leicester City. Well, Crystal Palace have had 2 bad results recently. 7-0 to Liverpool, defeat to Liverpool, and a 3-0 defeat to Aston Villa. So 10 goals conceded in the last 2 games. And when Villa were 1-0 up at half time, they went down to 10 men Villa. So Palace had the chance to turn the game around. And then even though Villa were down to 10 men, they still lost 3-0. So it just proved how bad they were playing in that game. And Leicester, they're a good team, Leicester. Harvey Barnes playing well, Jamie Vardy, a couple of other names, but I'll just mention the main 2 at the moment. And James Maddison's clicking in that midfield now, he is. He's not always consistent enough, but I think the other day he was. They did get a 2-2 draw with Manchester United. They rescued it to make sure they didn't lose to red hot on 4 Manchester United. So for this game here, I'm going to say Crystal Palace 0, Leicester City 2. Right, the next game now, which is Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Well, Chelsea, he did put it back against West Ham after 2 bad results away from home. And now they've lost away at Arsenal, 3-1 against a team that are in the relegation form. So, Chelsea, that's 3 away games, they've lost all 3. Chelsea need to get up that table still, even though they spent the most amount of money in the last transfer window in the summer one. So maybe they can bring in a few more faces in January. It just depends how many they can be allowed. I heard somebody the other day they can only bring in 1 new signing. For this game, Villa, I don't like Villa, I don't. But I can't deny that they are on some good form though at the moment. So this game here, I am going to say Chelsea are going to win because they have got an excellent home form. So I'm going to say Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 1. Right, the next game now, which is Everton versus Manchester City. Well, Everton did go on a bit of slump, then they pulled it back slightly onto good form now. And Man City, they are trying to get some results, but they're not playing where they know they can. They're not scoring too much, in my opinion. Can they get Champions League? Maybe, maybe not. They're too good for Europa League, so I think they're not strong enough to win the Champions League though. I was gonna go a win for Manchester City. I'm not too sure really. So go 1-0 Man City, but I think Everton can score though. So I am gonna go for a draw here. I'm gonna say Everton 1, Manchester City 1. I think Everton will surprise Man City here. Right, the next game now, it's Brighton and Hove Albion versus Arsenal. I watched Brighton play yesterday because it was game week 15 yesterday against West Ham. It ended in a 2-2 draw. Good. Brighton were class. If they play like that every game, they'll stay up this season. They should have beat West Ham. Well, Arsenal, God, they play fantastic against Chelsea the other night. Well, people could argue and say that Arsenal got lucky with the 2 goals they had, though. I think Arsenal will be slightly disappointed that they conceded against Chelsea last minute, though. But I think any win will be good for them at the moment. In this game, I'm gonna say Brighton 1, Arsenal 1. Well, last year Brighton beat them 2-1 it after a injury done to Burnley. It ended in a bit of a fight between all the players. So right on to the next game now, which is Southampton versus West Ham United. While Southampton, they struggled against Fulham and they played poor apparently. They were struggling without Danny Ings and Shane Long, he's no good now. West Ham, last couple of games, they're playing better. They're playing good this season, but they played pretty bad the last few games. I know some West Ham fans were happy when they got 2-2 draw yesterday. For this game here, I do think Southampton will get back to winning ways. I don't know if they got Ings or not. I'll just check that out now. Well, Southampton will go back into good form, even though when you have Danny Ings. He's a proven goal scorer, Danny Ings. The 9th in the league now. You can fly down in the league now really fast. You can. You're gonna look now if it's yeah, Danny Ings was out against Fulham. Just looking who's someone. Yeah, West Ham they're playing. No, they got no Danny Ings again, but I still think they'll win. Say Adams can still prove he can score though. I'm gonna say Southampton 2, West Ham United 1. So the next game now is West Brom versus Leeds United. Well, West Brom got a good draw against Liverpool yesterday, 1-1, but he got a fantastic record at Anfield though. Not many teams do that though. Well, I don't like West Brom, but I think a lot of people will be respecting them for beating not beating Liverpool, getting a 1-1 draw against Liverpool. And Sam Allardyce first point on the board. Where's a decent manager, Sam Allardyce? I'm not too sure on the guy. Apparently he's a Wolves fan, but I'm not really too much for Sam Allardyce though. This game Leeds, well, they pulled off a 1-0 win yesterday against Burnley, and I think Burnley were unlucky not to get a point. Leeds got to be happy because they're one of the worst teams defensively, and he's finally got a game where he finally didn't concede. This game here, I'm going to say Leeds are going to have too much for West Brom here, and I'm going to say it's going to be West Brom 1, Leeds United 1. No, not 1-1. I mean West Brom 1, Leeds United 3. And the next game now, which is Burnley versus Sheffield United. Well, Burnley are in good form now, even though they lost to Leeds yesterday. And I think they will stay up now because Thorndike knows the league too well, and they're not bad as people like to think. Really, they haven't really spent any money really, have they, Burnley? So that's why they're struggling. Sheffield United now, I just think they're too far behind now to stay up. But Sheffield United aren't as bad as people like to think. Though it's just been slightly unlucky. The strikers aren't good enough. So for this game here, I'm going to say Burnley 1, Sheffield United 0. Burnley 1, Sheffield United 0. But Sheffield United have got to get something out of this, so I can't see it. But Burnley, I think, will just be too good for them. So right, to the next game now, which is Manchester United versus Wolves, my team Wolves. Well, Man United in red hot form in the Premier League, and they're getting so many good results. Could they finish the Champions League? I think they will, personally. And we pulled off a 1-1 draw against Spurs yesterday, and we could have won it right at the end. But I thought both teams were pretty poor, though. But we played pretty well against a good Spurs team. Well, Spurs did look pretty trash, though, against us last night. Here, do you know, for Man United game, even though the red hot for them in the Premier League, I am feeling confident that we can get a point here. I'm going to say Manchester United 1, Wolves 1. Hopefully we can get a good point. Right, next game, which is Spurs versus Fulham. Well, Spurs, last couple of the games, they've looked pretty trash. Haven't been playing as well as they like know they can. But I think, where are Spurs now? 5th. It's up for grabs now, this Premier League. They haven't won in the Premier League in the last 4 games since they beat Arsenal in the derby. So I know he thought we would lose originally, but I was sort of confident though. I think, did I say we're doing Spurs Fulham? Oh yes I did. And when Fulham, they played pretty poor against Southampton the other day. They have played pretty poor in the last few games, but I think, will they stay up? If they don't, I think 18th or 17th. I can't see them getting any higher than 17th. So I mean, it'll be a good fit season for them to take survive though. And here, I think Spurs will get back to winning ways, and because they got to sort of beat Fulham. So I'm going to say Spurs 3, Fulham 0. Right, on to the next game now. It is Newcastle United versus Liverpool. Well, Newcastle, they're a pretty boring team, really. He played poor against Fulham and he played poor against Man City. Well, no one was expecting them to beat Man City and he didn't exactly get thrashed. He only lost 2-0. So that's pretty good, to be honest, against City. Right, Liverpool, they played poor apparently last night against West Brom. However, I do think they can win against a Newcastle team where I don't think they'll have enough enough to beat Liverpool though, or get a point. So that was the point here. So I'm going to say Newcastle United 0, Liverpool 2. Do I think Liverpool can win the league? Well, not if they play like they did against West Brom, but anyone who had injuries they got out, I think they're doing pretty good. Right guys, that is the end of the video now. So if you did enjoy today's video, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Also turn your notifications every time I make a video. There's a lot of snow today. Well, I just went across to Stafford to get a quick drink, I did. At the retail parks or something. And it got... The snow across in Milford and Stafford was heavy compared to here. It's just wet snow. It's just wet snow here. So see you again. See you all around, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.